Hello and welcome. You have tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now. I'm Shrishti Sharma and with me as always is Cheryl D'Souza. And viewers, this is the show where we get you answers for all your stock related queries. And today we're going to be talking about the markets onto the lens, because today is a historic day as we have hit an all-time high levels when it comes to the Sensex, and Nifty is just kissing distance away from its touch all-time high levels. We are awaiting that, but today is also a day where we are celebrating an International Yoga Day. So Cheryl, though we are waiting for the markets to Nifty to hit an all-time high levels, can you tell or can you guess that what kind of an arson Nifty 50 is making in on an intraday basis?
Very tough and tricky questions, isn't it? Very good morning to you, Shrishti, first of all, and happy International Yoga Day. And clearly, I don't have the answer for that. Maybe after some time when Kunal comes in, I will in fact ask Kunal about that. But since Shrishti has asked me this question, I'll ask her only to answer it, because if not many know, even Shrishti loves actually trying to analyze stocks based on charts and do technical analysis. So I'm sure that this time around also you've done some, isn't it?
That's very interesting, Cheryl, because that's a bit of an easy guess as well, because that's Parvatasana that for Nifty 50 is making. But I do believe and I hope that Nifty does make Hastottasana, that is upwards going when you do that Surya Namaskar. So maybe next year, Cheryl, we'll be more into yoga, and then we can able to guess more.
I should get those all the asanas right. For now, only I know only one asana, that is Shavasana. That's the only one. That's my favorite asana. But let's talk about the markets and let's see what the markets are doing. And yes, after touching an all-time high level for the Sensex, Nifty in the kissing distance, now we've given up most of the gains. In fact, we are at the day's lowest point when it comes to the benchmark indices. In fact, Nifty is actually, again, trying to, not day's lowest point, we are off the day's lowest point, near the day's lowest point. I stand corrected. We are actually seeing flat gains coming in for the benchmark indices. Let's take a look at what Nifty Bank is doing at this point in time, because Nifty Bank also, remember, was trading much higher, and right now Nifty Bank also has given up all those gains. Let's talk about what the rest of the market is doing at this point in time, which are the stocks that are gaining and losing. And it's the metal sector that's under pressure. You have JSW Steel, that's the top loser on the Nifty at this point in time. 2.3% downtick coming in for JSW Steel. Then there's Hindalco, 1.8% downtick. Apollo Hospitals, Tata Motors, as well as DV's Laboratories are the other set of losers. While on the gaining front, you have Power Grid, HDFC Life, and HDFC Bank and L&T that are gaining. Talking about what are the sectoral indices doing, you have Metal Index, that is the top sectoral loser, 1% downtick coming for the Metal Index, followed by Pharma and IT, which are seeing mild bit of weakness at this point. But it is the media index that continues to hold on to gains. And let's not forget the broader markets, they are on another trajectory altogether. In a short while from now, you'll hear what exactly Gautam Shah had to say on the market and broader markets in particular. But the broader markets are holding on to gains as of now. So this is the way how the markets are trading. Shrishti, we are off the day's high.
Well, yes, absolutely, Cheryl. Off the day is high, but like we were mentioning, that today is a day where Sensex has actually hit its all-time high levels. Though a lot of experts are just waiting and have hope that given the guidance that Sensex in the times ahead could hit 1 lakh possibly. And the biggest market veterans do believe so, including Chris Wood, Shankar Sharma, Nilesh Shah, as well as Mark Mobius. So firstly, let's listen in to what they have to say on Sensex going ahead.
Yeah, that to me is very reasonable. Yeah, I would be disappointed if the Sensex had not touched 100,000 5 years from now.
I'm absolutely certain it will reach 1 lakh. Now, whether it happens in 4 years or 6 years, frankly, is really a meaningless debate. But looking at the nominal GDP growth rate, which we are looking, you can safely say we can grow between, say, 12 and 14%, maybe 10 and 14%. You will approximate that number, and if you compound it at that, so in 4 years, roughly from 60,000, you add another, say, it comes to approximately 1 lakh in 4 years. I mean, it's not a reach to see 1 lakh, just at the simple compounding of the nominal GDP rate. I think it's a given, 100%.
मार्केट को प्रिडिक्ट करने की कोशिश मत करो. more often than not, you will be wrong. But today, is 1 lakh Sensex looking unimaginable? Answer is no. And my request to this audience will be, just don't think about 1 lakh Sensex. Beyond that also there is a much, much longer journey.
Generally speaking, if a country is growing at 7%, you can expect companies, reasonably good companies, to be growing at 14%, double the growth rate of the country. So it's very possible that you can get this incredible growth in the size of the market and the actual investments in the market, no question.
And that is what the market veterans stalwarts had to say about Sensex and when it will hit the 1 lakh mark. But earlier today, we spoke to Gautam Shah, who is the founder and chief strategist at Goldilocks Premium Research, who believes that Nifty hitting a lifetime high is just a formality and that the broader markets will continue to outperform benchmark indices going ahead. He also said that you need to be very stock specific and not look at index. Listen in.
Well, I think people are looking for a reason to celebrate the Nifty hitting lifetime highs. But honestly, I think for the last 6 weeks, there was a celebration every day at the markets. You know, given the kind of strength that you see in the broader markets, Nifty, Bank Nifty, and some of the top sectors have just been quite irrelevant. I think one needs to understand that the last 18 months, which was a pretty challenging period because the Nifty broadly traded in that 16.5, 18.5 kind of a band, it was a market where large caps stood out. You know, that's the space where there was a lot of outperformance and the broader markets actually lost a lot of ground. You know, till 6 months back, I think 60% of the market had lost about 40% from the highs. So that's the kind of extreme statistics that we were working with, and therefore there was obviously room for a lot of recovery. And if you actually go by the ratio charts, which is the mid-cap index divided by the Nifty or the small-cap index divided by the Nifty, that saw a massive breakout a couple of months back. So really the trade has been outside of the top 100 stocks. And I think this is going to continue for the rest of the year. Nifty hitting lifetime highs or going higher, I think is just going to be a formality. I don't see the index running away from current levels. We are a little overbought at these levels. 18,900, 19,000 is a point of resistance. So I don't think caps are going to do anything special. But this mid-cap, small-cap rally, I think is going to continue. And there will be internal corrections along the way. In fact, what I have seen in the last 3 months really reminds me to that 2003 period, which you also witnessed, wherein the index doubled in value, just gradually going up every single day. So focus on stocks, ignore the index would be my takeaway to your viewers.
All right, so that's the advice coming in from Gautam Shah. But let's hear out what our experts are advising you. What should you do in such a market scenario? We have Kunal Bothra as well as Saurabh Jain joining us on the show. Very good morning to you, Kunal, as well as Saurabh. Thank you so much for joining us on ET Now and Buy Now, Sell Now. And Kunal, I'll come first to you because you heard what Gautam Shah had to say. Ignore the index. Focus on stocks, but he continues to believe the broader markets is the one that will continue to rally. We know that the mid-cap index has hit a record high levels. You have the small-cap index as a 52-week high level, and they continue to outperform the benchmark indices day after day. What's your outlook on the broader markets, the indices? What next for the markets?
Good morning, Cheryl. Good morning, everyone. So, in every phase of a bull market, we have to remember that the mid-caps and small-caps would definitely outperform the large-cap peers. Now, whether it's a Nifty mid-cap index, small-cap index, whether it's individual stocks, constituents, they would, of course, stand out to give much more stronger returns as compared to the large-cap peers. And that's why we say that, investing in mid-caps and small-caps makes a lot of sense at the start of a bull market or at the, the start of a first stage of a bull market. And I think that's what we are seeing right now. We look at the quarterly performance, quarterly till date performance. The small-cap index is up some 20%, still far off from its lifetime high levels. Mid-cap index is up some 18%, and the Nifty is up some 8.5%, on a QTD basis. So that itself tells you the kind of outperformance the market breadth has already shown. But again, the question is that because the market sentiment is extremely bullish, that's why you see the mid-caps and small-caps outperforming. There would be a phase where the markets may go sideways, but I think in that phase, it's possible that the large cap stocks may make a strong comeback. So, it's very difficult to ride out every phase with precision. So you have to look at it from a positional play that from current levels, I would believe that the mid caps can stand to outperform, but even the large cap stocks could make a strong comeback. The likes of HDFC Bank has shown signs over the last couple of days of a good comeback. You've seen ICICI Bank forming a base at the 900 mark. Reliance Industries in the last 1 week has made a very good comeback. So these large cap stocks are bound to make a comeback, but I think that's what the ingredient of a vibrant bull market is all about.
Okay, so that's the take coming in from Kunal onto the markets, but sort of coming to you because Sensex hitting an all-time high levels, and we hope that Nifty hits that all-time high mark soon. But how are you seeing the broader markets are placed at this point in time going ahead for the second half of the year? Probably, do you believe that the broader market space could outperform the large caps, or it will be the large caps that will be the leading from front?
Hi, good morning. I think broader market participation is expected to continue. See the kind of broader participation it is coming from the power space, capital goods space, banking, infrastructure, real estate. Most of the sectors have participated apart from the, I guess, healthcare or IT. So I expected this trend to continue. The point is that this time around the cost of many commodities have come down drastically, and the demand is resilient in India, especially given the context of the what is happening in the global arena. So here, growth and inflation dynamics are looking quite positive, and I think going ahead, I think the demand is expected to get a boost, especially at a time when the cost of money here in India is actually been balancing the growth also. So I expect this participation to continue and the sector to flourish are expected. The capital goods, infra, power, reality. I think these sectors will further flourish.
From both of our experts on which pockets of the markets are likely to see an upward momentum. Remember, Sensex hit a record high levels today. You did not have a Nifty touch those record high levels, but right now both of the benchmark indices have given up their morning gains. But on that note, we slip into a break on this edition of Buy Now Sell Now. Stay tuned. When we come back, we'll start taking your queries, so don't go anywhere. Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, and trust me, the reason why I wore red was not because I wanted the markets to lose steam. So yes, but the markets are right now twinning my color. We are at the day's lowest point as we speak. But let's move on and let's talk about your stock related queries. Remember, viewers, you can write to us live. We will take your queries. Our WhatsApp number is flashing on the top of your screen. Do remember to mention your name, the stock you're looking to invest in. If you're already invested in then a stock, then mention the buy price, the quantity, as well as the time horizon. That will help our experts help you better. And talking about our experts, we have Kunal Bothra as well as Saurabh Jain on the show. Let's move on and let me take the first query. And this one is specifically for you, Saurabh. And this one is coming in from Raman from Chennai. He's holding auto ancillary stocks, Unipart, GNA axles, as well as steel strip wheels. He's asking whether are they worth holding on to, or should he look to exit any of these counters or any other alternative buy? What's your take on these auto anch names? Do you think that these are best fit to ride the momentum?
Hi, good morning, Shed. See, we are quite optimistic on the auto and auto ancillary play. With respect to the, out of the three stocks that you have talked about, I think GNA XL is experiencing some kind of a slowdown because of its, exports market, especially the US one. Apart from that, I think that is the only concern. Apart from that, I think all these stocks are okay. And some more stocks, I think you can look on like Uno Minda or maybe something like Subros. I think these stocks also hold immense potential.
Okay, moving on, and Kunal, the next question is from Seema, and she wants to know your long-term view on a couple of counters and which amongst them she could pick at this point in time. She has Vijay Diagnostic as well as Shanti Gas on her radar. So any of the counter that you'd like?
Yeah, Shantikar is something which I do track. I think the stock, which was almost 2 digits a few years back, has now risen up to almost 400, 450 plus levels, perched at a new high, or rather very close towards a fresh high for itself. And the momentum has been quite consistent, strong for Shantikar. So I would suggest that you can continue to hold on to this if if you've already bought, if you're looking to buy, then I think current levels of 450 could be a good starting point where you can look to start adding the stock and use dips, use corrections as a good strategy to average out further.
All right, this next one is coming from Rajan. He's writing to us from Delhi. Kunal, he wants your view on Kalyan Jewelers. I'm not unsure if he's already purchased the stock or is looking to purchase it, but he wants a short-term target for Kalyan Jewelers.
So, after the last week of very strong uptrend for Kalyan Jewellers, the stock is going through a 3-day correction. My sense is that this correction could probably take the stock back towards 120 mark. So, if you're looking to buy the stock, then I think just closer to that 120 mark, say 121, 122 could be a good starting point where you may look to start buying the stock. And from a short-term play, I would look at a retest of the previous highs of 135 as a target for Kalyan Jewellers over the very short term.
Okay, Saurabh, the next question is from Hamza, and she is holding 320 shares of Tata Power from a price of 216 rupees. She wants to know, can she add more at current market price, her investment horizon for the next 2 to 3 years?
I think if you want to hold for next 2-3 years, I think it's okay. But on the operational side, I think the earnings were not up to the mark. Some other stocks in the power baskets, such as NHPC, SJV, and maybe NTPC holds immense potential because of the valuation and the dividend yield play in these stocks. So you can think to switch over.
One is coming in from Venkataramani, who's writing to us from Bangalore and who's a senior citizen as well. Saurabh, the gentleman has about 5 lakh rupees which he's looking to invest for a period of at least 2 years, and in that investment he's expecting a yield of approximately 12 to 15%. He wants to know from you some good mid-cap picks where he can look to invest in for the next 2 to 3 years with good returns as mentioned.
I think if you're satisfied with 12 to 14% kind of a returns, I think then investing in bigger names like Larsen Toubro, maybe Reliance, and for that matter Maruti. I think these can fetch you good amount of return in the next 2 years.
Okay, moving on, and Kunal, the next question is from Reema, and she's holding 150 shares of Kalpataru Power at a price of 390 rupees and also 1000 shares of Infibeam at a price of 18 rupees. What's her advice going ahead, and how long should she continue to hold on?
See, I don't track both of these names, but I think for Infibeam specifically, I think you should avoid these kind of names. And even if you bought at 18 rupees, I think the stock price is currently slightly lower than that. I think you should just look to exit these kind of names and invest your money into large cap names. There are many large cap stocks, mid cap stocks, which are looking attractive in this phase of the market, as well as in a potential long term uptrend from current levels. So it makes a lot of sense to switch from stocks like Infibeam towards a few prominent large cap stocks.
All right, this one is coming in from Sunny and Kunal. He wants to know about Oracle. He has about 50 shares at a price of 4,300 rupees per share. He wants to know, what are you reading on the charts for this particular counter, because he's been stuck in Oracle for the last 2 years.
So I believe that even the current levels, the stock would probably get into a consolidation. There is not any major sign of a reversal or a breakout for Oracle Finance. The stock has already seen 3 days of strong uptrend from 3,500 to 3,900 approximately, and then few days of consolidation. Maybe the stock can come back lower to 3,700, 3,750 mark before it resumes a short-term uptrend. So it could probably just get into a very staggered kind of an uptrend rather than a free-flowing or a very strong uptrend, because the entire sector is being marred with a lot of negativity or bearishness. So it'll take a lot of time for these mid-cap IT stocks or the large-cap IT stocks to make a decisive comeback. So it's always better to try and trade them rather than look to invest in them till the time the clarity comes out better into the IT stocks.
Okay, the next question, Saurabh, is coming from SSV Chalam, and he's currently holding Bajaj Finance from a price of close to 6,000 rupees with 9 shares. And his view is long term, but given the move after the March lows in Bajaj Finance at this point in time, would you suggest booking profits out of this?
See, the company has made a tremendous comeback in terms of growing their balance sheet. Earlier, a year back, they were consolidating, doing kind of a consolidating activity. But now I think it's on a growth path. My take would be, it is better to be in a large cap private sector bank. So I would rather recommend to book profit in Bajaj Finance and shift money to the ICICI Bank.
All right, this next query that I have is coming in from Anne. Anne is writing to us from Bangalore, and Kunal, she wants to know whether it's good time to buy TRIL, that is Transformers and Rectifiers, and Ashok Leyland.
Well, yeah, both the stocks are attractive. TRIL is, I think, a candidate of a breakout of a life high levels at current levels of 90 plus. Ashok Leyland, of course, at 160.65. We've seen a very good rally for the stock last 1 week, so that should see a follow through till at least 175, 180 mark. So even if you're a short term to mid term kind of an investor, I think it makes sense to invest into both of these names.
Okay, moving on, and Kunal, the next question is specifically for you from Kamal from Pune, and he wants a suggestion on Tata Elxsi. He's currently holding 2 shares at a price of 8,750 rupees. Can he add more at the current market price? His view is for the long term, probably for the next 3 years.
Well, absolutely. It makes sense to invest into Tata Elxsi, and since you've bought it at higher levels of 8,700, I think it's a good strategy to try and average out further. I remember I was bearish on Tata Elxsi from the 10,000 odd mark, expecting the stock to get into at least a 30% correction. We've seen more than 40% correction for Tata Elxsi from those 10,000 levels to, I think, sub 6,000 mark, and now it's getting to a recovery phase. So I believe that this could be a good strategy to try and average out if you've bought at higher levels and then hold on to it for a long-term play.
All right, this one is coming in from Sanjeev Sinha, who's writing to us from Lucknow. And this one is for you, Saurabh. He wants to know whether Tata Communications is a good purchase for a long-term investment. And if yes, he wants to know at what price should he look to buy Tata Communications. What's your take on this one? Worth a buy for the long term?
Difficult for me to give up, what price would be a good price. But I guess the company is making good progress. If you look at the operational numbers, they are doing very good. So it can be a long-term buy for next 2 to 3 years.
So it is a long-term buy for the next 2 to 3 years, but at what price, Kunal?
So, Tata Com is something which I was earlier bullish on, and I think closer to 1650 mark is where we recommended to book profits. My sense is that there should at least be a 100-point correction from those 1650 mark, which means that maybe 1500, 1550 could be a very good level to buy Tata Communications. So the last 1 month of uptrend indicates that the medium-term trends have changed, but it says that the indicators were a lot more overbought and the stock could see a cool-off. So we are seeing that cool-off correction, which could extend for another 50 to 70 rupees for Tata Communications. So if you're looking to buy, 1500 to 1550 could be a very good range to buy or add on to the stock.
Okay, so that's the view coming in on Tata Communications. But with this, viewers, it's time to slip into a short break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back to take more of your stock-related queries. So stay tuned. Welcome back. You've tuned into Buy Now, Sell Now on ET Now, a show where we get you answers for all your stock-related queries from our experts. And today we have Kunal as well as Saurabh Jain onto the show. And moving on to the next query, Saurabh, this one is for you, and this is coming from Vignesh from Vellore, and he wants to know which one amongst Dudla Dairy and Heritage Food is the best for long-term investment.
Stocks, both the companies are doing good, but in my opinion, I think out of the two, Heritage Foods is better one.
Okay, this one is coming in from KVS Money, writing to us from Bengaluru. And Kunal, this one is for you. One is he wants to know what is the scope for BHEL. He's already holding about 150 shares. He's not mentioned the buy price, however. And also he wants to know if he has to invest in one pharma company for the short term, which one would it be?
BHL, I'm bullish on. In fact, my belief is that in this leg of uptrend, the stock hopefully should come back to the 3-digit mark, which should take the stock back towards a 3-4 years swing high for itself. So I would recommend a hold on BHL. I'm not sure for a buy price, but if it's at lower levels, then you can continue to hold on. From the other question from the pharma pack, I think one of the stock which I've been extremely bullish on is Glenmark Pharma. I think it's now trading at 630, 635 the last I had seen. So I think that's a stock which you can consider buying at current levels, and in case if there is any kind of a dip of 30-40 points, you can look to add further.
Okay, moving on to the next query, and Kunal, what's your view on PEL? Satya is holding shares from a price of 880 rupees, and today the stock is buzzing. Wants to know when to sell and book out profits of this particular counter.
So PL was one of the recommendations which I had suggested earlier. I think it's also ex-dividend of 31 rupees, for the stock. So that also gets adjusted to the cost price. Now I think at 940, 950 mark, I would believe you can look to maybe book out partial profits over here. But I believe that such kind of moves, they generally translate or transform a stock into a multi-month, multi-quarter uptrend. So if you are in from a short to medium-term play, then makes sense to book out 50% profits over here, but then hold the balance for higher targets of 1,000 plus.
This one is from Subrata Mukherjee from Kolkata. Is it the right time to buy BSE?
Well, the stock has actually been an underperformer. The only point is that, it tends to do pretty well in the best phases of bull market and then remains more sideways or into a prolonged consolidation. So that's the only concern for a stock like BSE. It's a good stock to hold on to it from long-term play, but then, the returns expectations could be a bit on the moderate side rather than on the extreme side as compared to a bet on the beta or the high beta stocks in the mid cap space. So if you're okay with that kind of a return as well as a risk return profile, then I think it makes sense to invest into BSE.
Okay, Kunal, the next question is from Jay Krishnan, and he actually wants to know the entry levels for two counters where he can enter Maruti as well as Navin Fluorine. And are these good buys, first of all? And if yes, then what could be the entry levels for the same?
See, Maruti I'm extremely bullish on, but in the last 1 week, the stock has actually underperformed, or it's just gone into a range of 200 odd points. But my belief is that with the ferocious up move the stock had shown in the last 1 month, it could just be a matter of time that Maruti should scale past about the 10,000 mark. So I think for traders who have a time of at least 1 to 3 months should look to hold on to Maruti. And my belief is that the stock could do exceptionally well in the near term with a time frame of 1 to 3 months max. For Navin Fluorine as well, I think most of the chemical stocks, I think Navin Fluorine, SRF, etc., they've gone through a correction in the last 1 or 2 weeks. But again, Navin Fluorine and such kind of names are the ones which can do pretty well in a very short period of time. So if for example, if you hold on to it for 12 months, in just 2 or 3 months, these stocks can stand to outperform and then they get substantially. For most of the other periods, these stocks remain sideways. So it's always better to buy these stocks when they are correcting or consolidating, like at current levels.
Okay, this one is coming in from SL Kumar, writing to us from Kota, and this one is for you, Saurabh. He wants to know whether he should continue to stay put with Andhra Cements. 9,000 shares of Andhra Cement at a mere price of around 10.10 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should stay put with this one. He seems to be already making a profit on this one, isn't it?
Well, we are bullish on the cement sector, but I think smaller players will always find themselves difficult to make profits even in a good scenario. So I would rather recommend him to take money from the table and invest in a company like Ultratech.
Okay, Saurabh, the next question is from Kusuma, and she wants to know, can she buy Force Motors at this point in time? What's her outlook and any good entry points for the same? Her investment horizon is for the next 6 months to 1 year.
It's a good company. The company posted good show. I think the street was surprised by the sales numbers that company has announced. I feel that one can buy this company for next 6 months to 1 year.
Okay, Kunal, this one is coming from Puneet. He's writing to us from Delhi. He wants to know this month's targets for JSPL, Dixon and Reliance. If not all three, then either one.
Well, for Jindal Steel, the recent recovery which we had seen in the last 1 month was quite interesting. I think the stock has made almost like a V-shaped recovery, which indicates that it should scale past about the previous highs of 600, 610. So from current levels, I would expect another 20-25 points upside over the next maybe few trading sessions left for the current month. For Dixon Tech, I think the indicators are a lot more overbought. So I would believe that maybe the near-term top could probably have been formed. If the stock corrects and say comes back to what 4,200 mark, that could be actually a good point where we look to average out further and then look out for targets of 4,450, 500 over the very near term.
Okay, Saurabh, the next question is from Bharadwaj, and he's currently holding shares of BEL, 750 shares at a price of 104. Wants to know, can he buy more at current market price, and any sort of targets that you are looking out for? He's a long-term investor.
I think if you look at the growth prospects are looking very promising for the 3-4 years. They have good order book. They're continuously winning orders from the government side because of the thrust of spending on the defense side, investments that government is doing. So I feel 20-30% kind of a CAGR can be generated in BEL, and it is a stock which you can buy in a staggered manner in every time you see dip in the markets.
All right, Kunal, this one is coming from Dr. Sham. He's writing to us from Nasik. He wants to know about Meghmani Organics, 200 shares at a price of 105 rupees per share. He's not mentioned his time horizon, what exactly he's looking out for, but on the charts, how is this one looking to you? It is actually below his buy price right now.
I think Make Money is at 100. Okay, so I think the stock seems to have gone into a bit of a correction. I think it's sub 100 levels. 86, 87 is where the stock is trading right now. But again, I think it's an interesting chart. The long-term setup is very attractive for the stock price. So I would suggest that you can probably continue to hold on. There could probably be a phase of a recovery, maybe going forward, and hopefully the stock should come back towards 94, 95 mark at least over the very near term.
Okay, Saurabh, the next question is from Subramaniam from Chennai, and he wants to know the short to medium term outlook on two counters. Firstly is Century Inca, and the other one is, I'm not sure whether you tracked this one or not. The name is Taneja Aerospace. What will be your advice on both of these?
As Taneja Aerospace, we do not cover. On Century Inca, I feel things are moving good for the sector in the company. One can go and one can buy it.
Okay, this one is coming from Ramesh. He's writing to us from Delhi. Kunal, he has Clean Science 50 shares at a price of around 1,850 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should look to average Clean Science right now. As you can see that his buy price was around 1,800. The stock is at 1,300.
Well, yeah, I think it's been making consistent lows. I think in the last one and a half odd year from 2022, first couple of months, the stock has been consistently correcting. It's corrected more than 50%, if I'm not wrong, from 2,600 to current levels of 1,300 up thereabouts. But again, I think at this point of time, it looks like maybe the worst could probably be factored into the stock price. But again, it's a matter of patience as well as holding on to the stock from long-term play. At current levels, because of the way the last 1 or 2 months have panned out, I would expect that maybe the worst of the correction seems to be behind and the stock could get into a time-wise correction. But again, patience is more important over here into these kind of stocks. There could be phases where these stocks may underperform in a vibrant market, and there could be phases where even the market corrects, these stocks can stand out and continue to outperform. So that's the only catch with these kind of names. But otherwise, I think at 1,300 odd levels looks attractive.
Okay, moving on, and Saurabh, what's your view on BPCL? Padma is a senior citizen and holding the shares from a price of 410, currently at a loss. So going ahead, do you believe that she could have the recovery for BPCL, and what's the outlook going ahead?
See, these companies are making good amount of profits both on the refining and marketing side. Earlier, they were losing money on the marketing side, but I think the profits that these companies are generating are a testimony to that. I think you can hold on to this company.
All right, this next one that I have is coming in from Kiran, and he's a new investor, Saurabh. His investment time horizon is around 1 to 2 years. Now, he wants to know whether at what price should he look to buy IOC, ITC as well as Tata Motors. In fact, I'll take this query to Kunal given the fact that he's asking for a buy price for these counters. Kunal, IOC, ITC as well as Tata Motors.
See, I think for ITC, you can start buying at current levels. Don't expect a major correction because the stock somehow is going into a very strong uptrend with less phases of correction. So you can start at current levels. Tata Motors as well, I think at 570 thereabouts, where it's trading right now. Again, a very attractive price because of the way the last 3-4 months of charts have panned out as the long-term structure for Tata Motors. So again, looks attractive at current levels. For IOC, I think you can wait out. Maybe closer to 84, 85 levels could actually be a better zone to buy IOC. I don't expect those levels to come back, say in the next couple of weeks, but hopefully in the next 1 to 3 months, there could be an opportunity where the stock may provide a correction. And then I think at those 84 odd levels is where you can look to enter IOC.
Okay, Kunal, what's your view for the short to medium term view on Zydus Life Sciences? This question is from Hemanta from West Bengal, and she's holding 98 shares from a price of 554 rupees. The stock has already seen a stellar rally. So going ahead, do you believe that more steam is left in this one?
See, you'll have to play the strategy two-pronged. One is that maybe if the stock comes closer to 575, 580 mark, say in just the next couple of days, then I think it could be a time where you may look to book out profits and then wait out for a correction and let the stock come back towards 530 mark. That could be a point where you may look to re-enter. We are almost at the midst point of the stock entering into the overbought territory. So maybe another 20-25 points higher from current levels and you can expect the stock to get into an overbought territory. That could be a point where you may look to book out profits. And then as I said, use corrections, at least a 10% correction from those potential 575 levels as a good entry point.
Okay, this one has come from Jitendra and he's writing to us from Delhi. Kunal, he's bought Adani Transmission 100 odd share at a price of 808 rupees per share. For the medium term, what's the call on this one? Should he continue to hold or look to exit? Not too far away from his buy price right now, Adani Transmission.
Yeah, but I think you should exit the stock. It's been an underperformer from the entire Adani group, at least in the last 3 or 4 months. And always remember that the market prices in, the reaction or the prices of the stocks are actually an indication of what the market sentiment is for that particular stock. So don't buy it because it's a cheap stock from the entire Adani group of names. But I think it always makes sense to buy the stocks which stands to outperform or are the leader for the entire sector. I think in this regards, maybe Adani Ports, Adani Enterprise, Ambuja Cements. These are the 3 names which have been consistently highlighting as a good buy from the Adani stable rather than stocks like Adani Transmission.
Okay, but with this fears, it's once again the time to slip into a short break. But don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. You're watching Buy Now Sell Now on ET Now, and markets are making a recovery from the day's lowest point. Right now, trading flat with a positive bias. That's for the Nifty right now. Let's take your queries then. And this next one I have is from Sambi Reddy, who's writing to us from Guntur. And he wants to know about Axis Bank. What sort of an entry point should he look at for Axis Bank for a period of 1 year? Kunal?
So maybe if the stock corrects and comes back towards 925 mark, that could be a fair price to buy Axis Bank because that would probably be a retest of the previous major support from where this rally started off for Axis Bank. 925, 940 could be a range, but then closer you are towards 925 mark, better the price in terms of timing for Axis Bank.
Okay, Saurabh, coming to you for the next one, a bit of a longish query. This one is from Kiran Chopra from Lucknow, and she's a senior citizen and wants to invest rupees 40 lakhs, but 5 lakhs she wants to invest for 3 months, 15 lakhs for the next 6 months, and 20 lakhs for the next 1 year. So any short, medium as well as long-term stock picks would be helpful. And what will be your stock recommendations?
I'll be able to guide on the long-term side. I think capital goods, banks, power, infra, I think these are the good sectors. So my take would be like you can buy Reliance Industry, ICICI Bank, Larsen & Toubro, NTPC. These stocks can be good for the long-term investment.
Okay, so that's the long-term pick coming in. But Kunal, any short to medium-term picks for her?
I think HDFC Bank is something which you can look at current levels. You can look out for PFC for a target of 225. We highlighted the stock a couple of days back. Looks attractive. And I think the third stock would be L&T Finance. These 3 names is what I would recommend.
Okay. This next one is coming from TP Vinod from Salem. And Kunal, he wants to buy and roll over 2 F&O stocks for the next few months. He's saying it will be preferred if it is a low beta stock, one from banking, one from IT. Which one would you advise?
Well, from the banking, of course, I'll prefer HDFC Bank at current levels. But from the IT pack, I'm not sure because of the uncertainty around. So maybe over the next couple of weeks, if there is some clarity or breakout in the IT stocks, I would recommend there. But I would recommend instead that look out for something like Reliance Industries. Both of them, Reliance Industries and HDFC Bank, are typically low to moderate beta stocks, and they should do pretty well going forward. So I would believe that these are the 2 names which I would recommend.
Okay, with this, viewers, let's kickstart taking all your queries in the rapid fire session. And the first query is for you, Saurabh. The question is from Rohan, and he's holding 1,500 shares of Vishakha Industries from a price of 99 rupees. Can he average this particular counter further, sell or hold?
Better to exit.
Okay, Kunal, Rima is asking, she has HDFC average price 1,032 and ICICI average price 705. Which one should she add more?
Both of them.
Okay, Saurabh, what's your outlook on Vodafone Idea? So Ghosh Tata from Delhi is holding 80,000 shares from a price of 7 rupees. What's the outlook going ahead?
I would suggest him to switch over to Bharti.
Okay, Kunal, this one is coming in from Sukesh from Ernakulam. 200 shares of DLF at 500. What's the short-term outlook? He's in a loss, so should he average or book losses?
Short term, the stock could correct towards 470, 455. If you're looking to hold on to it from long-term play, add at 455.
Okay, Saurabh, what's your outlook on Vijaya Diagnostics? Sukanya is holding 50 shares at a price of 448 rupees. What could be the medium-term outlook for this one?
Lot of competition in this space. Better to exit.
Okay, Kunal, Vidya is a short-term trader, wants to know for a fresh entry into Thermax and SRF, worth accumulating these counters?
Well, for SRF, yes. For Thermax, I would suggest a wait at current levels.
Kunal, what's your outlook on SBI Cards? The query is from K. Parthasarthi, holding 75 shares at a price of 805. Book profits or wait more?
Hold on, the stock could see a bounce back.
Okay, Kunal, this one is coming from Ravi Tega. He wants to know about Adani Enterprises. Average price is 2420. What should he do? Should he stay put with this, and what sort of a target can he look at?
Yeah, hold on. Maybe if the stock retraces 50% of the recent rally, it could come back towards 20 to 50 mark. That could be a point where you may look to average further.
Kunal, once again a query to you because Arvind Reddy wants a technical view on Kalyan Jewellers. He is holding 150 shares at a price of 106. Wants to know the support level for this one.
120.25 is a good support point for Kalyan Jewellers.
Okay, and lastly, this one is coming in from Mahesh from Delhi. Bought about 1,900 shares of IDFC First Bank at 54 rupees. Makes sense to switch half of that to AB Capital, Saurabh.
I would rather recommend to switch over to ICICI.
Okay, but with this, viewers, it's time's up on the rapid fire session as well as onto the Buy Now Sell Now show. Kunal and Saurabh, thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and helping all our viewers with their stock-related queries. But with this, viewers, it's a goodbye from me and Cheryl and the entire team who put this show together. The markets are seeing a bit of a recovery from the day's lowest points, but you don't go anywhere because markets at noon will take the action ahead.